2, 1, you're live. What's up, everybody? You guys hear me okay? Yes, no? All right. So I'm down here burning the midnight oil. Let's see, what do we got on for dinner tonight? So first things first, we're going to be working with the fiber laser. It is a 50-watt fiber laser. I've had it for about a decade now, and it's my favorite fiber laser in the shop. I use it for all kinds of stuff, including what we're going to work on tonight, which is plastic or polycarbonate plastic. And I'll explain what we're doing here in a second and why fiber lasers are great for laser marking most plastics. Let's see. All right, so I am just polishing off my safety glasses, which you need to be wearing unless you have an enclosure for your fiber laser. Then you don't need it if you got a protective screen. Chat. Hello world. Hello world. Yeah, you see that? That thing is tracking my face. I'm sure at some point during this live stream, it's going to miss my face. Maybe if I turn around, turn back. No, it caught me. What if I come over here? Oh, no. Yeah, it's a fun little toy. Anyway, so we're going to be working on the fiber laser. I got my glasses here, which I'm actually just going to put on now so I don't forget when we get started. But here is the mission. So I'm here in Georgia. It's about 8 o'clock at night, and I've got a batch of these, 85 of these actually. So these are Anchor Series 6 portable charging banks for your phone. They're magnetic. They hook on the back of your phone. They do wireless charging. And a company called me. They're having an event, and they want their logo on every single one of them. So we're going to use the fiber laser to do that. And I will show you what they look like before we start. Really quick. Yeah, so this is a new one. We'll get into that, but I've already done 10 of them. And let's see here. Jack, can you hear me okay? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Somebody comment in there. Audio's good. All right, great. All right, so here's what's, this is something you need to think about whenever you get these business to business jobs, right? So you got to think about when you're pricing this stuff out, you got to think like, okay, how long is it going to take me to unbox it? And how long is it going to take me to rebox it? And kind of all the fiddling that you're going to have to do. Is there any post cleanup after I'm done engraving? Do I need to wipe it down or spray it with LA Totally Awesome? On these, we definitely don't want to do that. But so it's just something that I always think about whenever I'm taking on these jobs, is when I'm pricing out the job, is how long is the whole process going to take? Because literally, as you're going to see, the engraving on these takes like seconds. So you can't really do it by time at that point. So anyway, each one of them comes in a box. This is what they look like when they're done. So minimal packaging, just a little clamshell thing, instruction manual. But this is what we're doing on every one of them. So you guys can see that. It's kind of a lightish gray mark with the fiber laser, and it's not carved deep. It's just kind of a surface mark. Oh, Kentucky. It's just kind of a surface mark, so there's really not a lot of depth to it. But that's the company's logo, and this is the Anchor charger. It's super thin, super compact, pretty cool little charger. And that's the mission. That's my mission tonight, is to engrave all 85 of these, and I will talk about my settings and kind of, what I'm doing. So before we get into that, I just want to point out, for those of you that don't know, fiber lasers can mark on a laser mark on a lot of plastics. Not all plastics, but definitely like polycarbonate stuff like this. I've engraved lots of these chargers, portable chargers for different companies in the past. My point is they don't have to be anodized aluminum if you get your settings right on the fiber laser. And also, you don't need a MOPA fiber laser to mark on plastic either. We're not using a MOPA fiber laser tonight. We're just using a pulsed 50-watt fiber laser with some cool settings. How many people in here right now have fiber lasers? Anybody? Raise your hand. Or do you guys strictly diode, CO2? I know some of you definitely have fiber lasers for sure. Yeah, Jack's got one. Yep. Just in the road, Nashville. Okay, so you have the F1 Ultra. Might be possible with these. Yep. Okay, cool. All right, some of the other things that I've been contracted to do lately, which is another business to business, is these wall switch plates by Leviton, and there's other brands too. But fiber lasers can also get a nice high contrast gray mark on these wall switch plates, and there is some money in that, because if you can get connected with a construction company who, like an electric company that's doing like huge developments, a lot of those wall switch plates are not going to come, and they're really custom houses. Those wall switch plates are not going to come custom marked with, like, Wi-Fi, Ethernet, whatever they want marked on these Leviton wall switch plates. The fiber laser can put a nice gray mark on this, and so can the F1 Ultra, because I've seen people do it with that, even a low power. You don't need a lot of power. You do not need a lot of power to mark plastic. It's not a power game. It's a frequency, speed, and hatch game. That's kind of the main parameters. So you don't have to have some uber, even though your 100-watt JPT, it's nice that you have a 100-watt fiber laser. I don't have one. I have a 2,000-watt laser cleaner, but that doesn't really count, does it, Jack? So anyway, something to keep in mind. I've been looking into this lately, and I was thinking actually about making like a listing on my website for custom engraving on various models. It could be a 2-gang, a 4-gang, whatever. But I think there is only a few main companies doing mass production of these, and not enough. There's, how do I say it? There's a lot of slices of the pie left over for wall plate switch marking, for sure. So look into it. There's fiber laser marking on these polycarbonate switch plates, and then there's also a market, since you guys all have fiber lasers. Another one to look into is wall switch covers and plug covers for hospitals and other medical facilities. They're usually stainless steel, and they have to be engraved. That is the requirement. It is like the building requirement. And they have to be color filled, usually with red ink or blue ink, to indicate which device plugs into which. So there's like a whole world of outlet covers a whole market out there that you guys might want to look into and see if you can grab a piece of that market with your fiber lasers, because I think there's an opportunity for that. How much do I charge? Mike C says, how much would I charge for a switch plate? So that's a great question. So, you know, if someone came to me and they're like, hey, I want to put something funny, you know, on my kid's, you know, switch plate cover or a design, it was just a one-off. I've talked about this before. I don't do anything for less than $45 in my shop. So if they want a one-off, it's $45. Now, this job I did recently was not a one-off. I had to do, I think, 25 of them. And what I ended up, and it was literally just, it was some text on the top and a Wi-Fi symbol on the bottom. So it was, yeah, so it was just, this is my tester. It was just the Wi-Fi symbol bottom and then variable text on the top. And I ended up charging that electric company $35 to set up the job. And then I believe I charged them $5 a wall plate. And it literally, they just go so fast. So does that answer your question, Mike? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, back to the any other questions about plastic or wall switch plate covers? I kind of got off on a tangent there. I'm just kind of excited about it because it's like it's a new thing that I kind of knew about, but it's like one of those things, you know, if you, it's already being done, but if people don't, you got to put yourself out there. You got to do some demos. And these things literally at Home Depot are like so cheap, right? You can buy them in bulk even cheaper. But I think that once I make a listing and I start promoting that I offer the service, you know, obviously I want to get the business to business, the bulk orders. I'd rather not do the one-offs. Most people, you know, unless they really, really need it bad, aren't going to pay $45 for a custom wall switch. But you'd be surprised. But I'd rather get those large, you know, maybe I have like a 25, 50, you know, 100-piece order discount, you know, and just, you know, really lay it out. But yeah, I'll have, what is it? Let's see. I want to add cutting head 2K. How much do you charge the plate? It does, thanks. I'll have to test the plastic with the Ultra. Yeah, I think you on the wall switch plates, the white stuff, you should be able to get a mark. So, all right, so let's go ahead and start engraving a couple of these. First things first. Now I thought about, I know some of you are thinking like, why didn't, you know, sometimes depending on the product, I will unbox and do all these ahead of time, and have them all just staged and ready to go. And the reason I'm opening them up one by one, because obviously you kind of front load the work that way. You unload and you get a stack of these and then you're just slapping them in there. You could do a few at a time if you had a big enough lens. These are kind of a weird size. I didn't want to switch my lens out, so I'm just, and they only take seconds. But the reason I'm opening one by one is because if you look at the finish of these, it's got like that rubberized feel on the back, and it's really clean on the front. So I didn't want to get any scuffs or anything or any lint, because this is kind of like that rubber stuff. Oops, there we go. This is kind of that rubbery stuff. I just wanted to keep it clean, so I figured the best way to do that. So I don't know, I might have to move the camera a few times, but let's see if I can take this off of there. Try to show you my little setup here. Hopefully I won't disconnect anything. But anyway, you can see my setup there. I got my exhaust fan here. I've got my little Lego jig that I put together. I can move that out of the way so you can see that. And I already pre-aligned it ahead of time, so I know that my logo is perfectly center. right here, and all I've got to do is just slap that in there and hit mark. So that's basically what we're doing. Let me get back there and tell it where my face is again. All right, so I could bring that over there. Let's see. Okay, so and as far as software, I am still using EasyCAD, um, just because it's what I started with, and man, I'm so familiar with it. I don't really see a reason to switch to Lightburn, even though I really want to try it. I'm just trying to find the bandwidth to like open it up and start playing with it. But I'm really, really good with EasyCAD, and I've never really had any issues with it, and it's never not been able to do something that I needed it to do. So that's why I stick with it. I am using, anybody out there still using EasyCAD, or is everybody on Lightburn for Galvo? And I won't be offended because I totally understand. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's super cool. Dude, Lightburn for Galvo is super cool. Like, I've poked around with it before, and it's super cool. I just, like, you got to look at it from my point of view. Like, I grew up as a kid using EasyCAD for, like, years and years before, like, fiber lasers were even readily available to everyone in the world because they were still really expensive. So all my settings, all my workflow, everything was just in EasyCAD. So it just works for me, and that's why I stick with it. But I can still share my settings, and you guys can hopefully translate that over if you want to know what I'm doing there. Let's see. And yeah, really happy with it. Just ordered playing card size. Nice. Ooh, that's cool. Nice. Okay. All right. So let's see. So I am using, and I'm sure Lightburn has this. So I've set the job up to where instead of having to, you know, uh, basically I'm in the equivalent of continuous mode. So every time the laser finishes the mark, it relights the red contour outline again on the item or on the table, letting me know it's ready for the next one. And all I have to do while I'm doing this job is just hit the space bar. So there's the command to mark is just to hit the space bar because I'm using continuous mode. My settings for this, let's talk about settings. Okay, you guys get your, and now keep in mind, everybody's wattage is different. I've got my laser set up in inches per second. So if you guys want to take a second to write down or get a pen and paper, write down some of these settings, go for it. So I will share the settings that I am using for dark polycarbonate plastic, whether it's black, dark gray, light gray, or anything in that spectrum. Get your pen and paper out, buckle up. Okay, so, and I'm sorry that you have to translate this to millimeters. I do apologize for that, but too bad. So my speed is at 150 inches per second. My power is 20 is 20% of 50 watts. My frequency is at 60. My hatch setting, I'm using 2 hatches. They're both, and I do this on most all my stuff, they're opposing 45s. So I've got one hatch that goes 45 and another hatch that goes negative 45. My hatch spacing is 0.003 inches on both hatches. And one last thing, I am defocused by, and I will tell you this in millimeters, just so I can give you one measurement in millimeters. I'm trying to piss Alex off over at Laser Everything. He hates that I work in inches. So I am defocused away from the surface of the charger by 2.6 millimeters. Anybody have any questions about what I just said? Right. So anyway, I have found that when I am laser marking plastic with the fiber laser, one of the most important things to get a vibrant contrast mark, or that nice frothing white or kind of grayish, or sometimes it comes out tan. This goes for like PMags too, is you want to pay special attention to your hatch spacing. If your hatch spacing is left on what you normally engrave metal with, and brass and aluminum and all that kind of stuff, it's not the right spacing. It's too much concentrated hatch for the plastic. And what you're trying to really do is kind of froth up the surface of the plastic to create kind of a raised mark on the plastic. You're literally changing the color of the plastic. So the hatch really helps disperse the heat in that, but you don't want to go too wide of a hatch line, because then you'll start to see those lines. So that's why I like to use on plastic the 0.003 inch spacing for the hatch. And the offset I found kind of blurred just a little bit, 2.6 millimeters or whatever that is, kind of blurs those hatch lines a little bit. And if you're new to fiber lasers and you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I know this is like super technical, but you can go back in time in this video when it's posted, and you can listen to these again and then try it yourself. Get some dark plastic, get some stuff to try on, and you'll see it really does make a difference. What lens am I using? I'm using a 110. Yes, sir. All right. So I'm locked and loaded here. I've got my settings for black plastic. Oh, and the last thing about that setting is I'm running that sequence twice. So however you want to call it, 2 passes, 2 sequences, 2 loops, I'm running it twice. So I'll go ahead and mark this one now. And that mark took, still going. That is a 10-second mark. There you go. I'll try to bring the camera over here in a second so you guys can see it, but that's it. So then, because I have the packaging right here, I'm just going to slide it back in, close the door, seal it back up. You know what's funny is the customer who brought me these, she literally opened up every single one of these, which actually helped me out, and tested every single one to make sure that they were functioning properly before she brought them to me. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, they must be very important people that they're giving them out to. All right, so let me see if I can get it off of thing, and I will try my best here. Let's see if I can do this. All right, there we go. That's the best I can do. You guys can see that? Very light touch. Not a lot of power at all. That's it. End of story. So I know one of these days I will I'll figure out how to do like multicam angles, get a little switchboard or something like that. There you go. Yep. Using laser, but I'm transitioning to light burn. There's a lot to learn about this new software. Your exhaust is quite nice. Oh, you mean the sound of it? Is it super? Are you being sarcastic about the exhaust? Sorry, I've got it on as low as I I've got it on as low as I have because I didn't want it to like be so loud. It's literally just oh, it's super quiet. Oh yeah. Well, so what I have is literally dryer duct. I bought this. Let's see if I can come down here. You guys see this? So I bought this little piece right here from, what is it, Woodcraft? Because they have all these little attachments for collecting dust for when you're like CNCing wood, and they have all these little cool attachments right here. And this allows it to lay flush on the table. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then let's see if I can turn this around. Oh yeah, look at that. Ah, look at that. So then I have it going to here to this inline fan, which then goes up and outside. And then you see I have a little splitter there. So that splitter is if I have another fiber laser over here, I can hook up right to it. And then this fan, I can open up this blast gate right here. So I can open it up, and then I can be exhausting 2 fibers out of 1. So, and I bought that blast gate thing on Amazon. Open up the blast doors. Okay, let's get another one out. Yeah, so her opening up all these for me actually kind of helped me a little bit, so I don't have to like cut that little piece of plastic that's holding the box shut. And I'm just opening it up enough to get the part out. I'm not like trying to pull all the guts out. I want to make it as easy as possible, right? Two-watt IR for marking. Yeah, those little 2-watt IRs. I actually had an old video where a company sent me, I think it was called the Genmitsu, and it was only a 2-watt, and I was really surprised that it was able to do a mark like this on white plastic on some iPhone headphone cases. I was kind of impressed by that. It took a few more passes because it's only 2 watts, but it can do it. And I think somebody said in there, what is it? Somebody said in there they had an F1 Ultra, and I don't know, maybe I have one here. I have an F1 Ultra here. I forget what the frequency range is on the F1 Ultra. I think it's up to 60. Yeah, so these are by No IR. These laser glasses are by No IR, and you can look them up online. They are very nice. and they're also very expensive. The reason they're so expensive is because of the visible light transmission. So whenever you have fiber lasers with a lot of visible light transmission, the VLT, they usually get more expensive. The cheaper ones are the ones that are almost super dark green. They ship them with a lot of the lasers. They do protect your eyes, but you can't see your work. And that's what I don't like about them. Like, I can see in real color through these, and it just feels like I'm wearing a pair of light sunglasses. So I've had these for years too, literally years, and they have not, I still have my eyeballs, that's important, but they haven't broken, or they're definitely scratched up though. NOIR laser.com. Just look them up for laser safety glasses. I think these ones were like 150. They have ones that go all the way up to, 8+. Like these ones right here, these are by them too. And they are the green ones, but these are the OD 6+. So these are 6+. So these are what I wear when I'm doing the laser cleaning with the high powered fiber lasers, the 300 watt pulsed and the 2000 watt continuous wave. I wear these ones right here. No, they're not glass. They're still plastic. I don't know what kind of plastic they use. But yeah, I mean, and they also have the sides too, the little window on the side so you can see the peripheral. So, I know that I was literally, it's funny you're talking about glasses. I was literally looking the other day of all the different fiber laser safety glasses on Amazon. And I think Alex already did a video where he tested Alex from Laser Everything, where he tested all these different glasses, and some of them just had no protection whatsoever, even though they said they were rated. But then there's some newer ones out there that are like $50, and I saw one pair on there that looked like it had super high visible light transmission. It looked kind of like an oil slick, and I wanted to get those, but I don't have a meter to tell if they're really blocking all the light. The only way I'd be able to tell is to literally fire the laser and put something underneath it and see if it blocked all the light out, but I might smoke a $50 pair of glasses, so I don't know if I want to do that. But I was thinking about making a video on testing 10 pairs of glasses. Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah, UV and IR laser 240, yeah. OD 9+. Yeah, you can really, you only get one set of eyes, at least for now, until Elon Musk invents some replacement eyeballs for us. So we got to protect our eyes. The free mascot like them, but it's kind of hard to see. Yeah, that's the thing, Jack, is, I feel like when you're getting into the expensive glasses, what you're really paying for is the ability to see your work better and see in real color. That's where I think that's where the money goes when you spend $150 and up on glasses. Or at least if I'm going to spend $150 and up, I want to be able to see my work in full color and as clear as I can. That's what I'm looking for. It really does make a difference. I'm already going blind at my age anyway, and I have to wear bifocals now, so at least, and these go over, right? So I'm still wearing my glasses. That's another thing, is make sure you get, if you do wear glasses, make sure you get the large size to compensate for going over your glasses as well. Yeah. Let's see. So let's see. Are the X-Tool glasses functional. I got 2 sets for use. Yeah, yeah, I believe that the ones that come with the X tool, they should work just fine. Yeah. They're serious about, they're gonna ship you a good pair of glasses. And then what was the other question? Tennessee wood signs. Just curious, did the customer give you any extras in case of a mess up? No, they did not. And they gave me exactly 85, and that's exactly, so there is no room for error. And if I do screw one up, I will have to replace it. But you can get, you know, a lot of the plastics that these chargers and things like this are made from, you can buy a much cheaper portable charger that is a similar plastic from like eBay, or, you know, I've talked about this before, you know, go buy a used one somewhere, Facebook Marketplace, and just get practicing and dialing in your settings so you have that setting. And once you do enough of these plastics, you kind of know which plastic is which. They are all a little bit of a different composite, but this setting has worked on 95% of all the dark black to gray to light gray plastic devices that customers have brought me. It really is a good setting. It works well. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to play around before you take on your first batch of 85 chargers. So yeah, there's no room for error here. It's kind of a cool charger. I wish they did kind of bonus me one. Maybe they vendor shipped 86 on accident. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't take that extra one for myself. Actually, if that ever happens, and it has happened before, where, because I get stuff drop shipped to me a lot, you know, when I talk to the customer, I'm like, hey, you don't need to come and bring these to me yourself if you don't want to. You can just drop ship them to me, and they love that. So there's another pro tip for you. I just tell them, hey, if you haven't ordered them yet, just ship them right to my address. It's totally fine. And they're like, yes, you just saved me gas and time, because time is the one thing that they can't get back, right? So if you can save your customer time and hassle, that's a bonus, right? Here comes the question. John, I knew that. I knew. Well, of course. Everybody wants to know about the job. Like, how much can you make doing this kind of work, right? So John asks, how much am I making doing this job? So it's really simple. I have 85 chargers, and I charge the customer a $35 setup fee that covers, you know, my labor for doing a minimal unboxing, preparing their proof, the time I take going back and forth. I did have to make one revision on their proofs, their digital proofs, and any other time that I spent doing that, time setting up my Lego jig over here. That's what the setup fee is for. And then I came up based on the volume at a price of $7 per unit. So you can do the math. Yeah, you can do that too. Some people do that. They'll say, hey, you know, that's totally acceptable. You can definitely ask the customer. Like, if you're unsure and you just don't want to put yourself in a situation where you've never seen this product before, if you've never seen this product before and you're doing a bunch of them, 100, you know, 200, whatever, just say, hey, you know, I'm going to need you to order an extra one for me to test on, just so I can get my settings dialed in. right? Just so I can get my settings dialed in right. I want to get the best mark I can for you. Usually, if you're dealing with a business or a corporation, they're like, no problem, because you're justifying them sending you a few extra. Um, so you can, the goal is so you can get the best mark and the cleanest mark on their product. And also, it's really so you can get your settings dialed in right, you know, and make sure that you got it right before you start on the actual product. That's totally acceptable. That's not like out of line or anything. I just researched this product ahead of time and on the actual manufacturer's website. So I already kind of knew what it was composed of, how it was going to react with the laser. So I didn't make that request to them, but I have in the past. All right. Let's see, I answer some questionnaires. Yep. Jack in the shop. That's correct. Thank you for sharing. It's been engraving some machine parts. Just haven't been able to understand how to price my services. Yeah. So, you know, pricing is, you know, it can vary, you know, it's tricky, man. You just, you know, with time, you get a feel for it. Um, you know, you got to consider, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but when you're thinking about pricing, you need to consider not just the time it takes to mark the item. You know, I don't believe in that price model. Um, you know, I'm sitting there calculating, okay, each mark takes 10 seconds, you know, and doing all that. Now, I do use the time model when it comes to laser cutting. And what I mean by that is when customers need material cut and they already have the SVG or the AI file ready to go, cut lines, I don't have to do nothing. And they're bringing me the material, or I'm working with acrylic or wood, and it's literally just time on the machine. That's when I'll use a time-based pricing structure on the runtime of the machine, but then I also add some extra costs for the use of the machine, the time it takes me to, you know, lift all the little pieces out. If I've got to take the paper mask on, what if you have to mask the material before you put it in the laser? So there's some more labor there. But using the time of the cut, the whole bed of the cut, especially if it's a whole bed of different parts cut out, I'm definitely going to look at how long that job takes on that material. Because 1/4 inch acrylic, I mean, dude, you know, versus 1/8 inch acrylic, there's a huge time difference there. Yeah, the high-low game. Yeah, you never want to go too low. It's hard to go up once you go low. I just took on a job for 100 business cards front and back at $2 a card. Thought I was underpricing this service, but looks like, yeah, that's not bad. I mean, if you're just doing a quick mark on either side of the card, it's not horrible. And if you can do multiple cards at once in a fixture, or get one of those crazy uh, attachments that Kyle made for your rotary and have an auto rotator, sheesh, you're good, man. Most of the time, oh, what's the crazy camera? So it's the Osmo Pocket 3 from DJI. One of my favorite cameras for sure. Because you can use it. I use it for filming the YouTube videos, and then I also works really cool as a webcam too. Oh, there's Kyle. He heard me. That's what I'm saying. There he is. There's the guy himself. Just burning these out. QR codes on black surfaces. Do you need to invert QR for them to? Actually, I think we were just talking about that on Alex's channel. You can do either one. So it depends on what the material is going to, like if you had I'm answering the QR code for Brian. So you could spin it both ways, man. Like if your material engraves white, you can engrave the QR code since you have a nice black background on this device has a black background. That QR code is going to work fine. But if you wanted to invert it and have have a white background, a white box around the QR code, and have the QR code be the color of the surface of the plastic, that would totally work too. It will work either way, to answer your question. If you hold the item really close, the camera will focus. I think it should. Yes, I think it should. I think it should focus in on it, but I'm afraid that when I do that, I think it's going to it wants to track my face right now. So that's it's what it wants to do. And if I put something in front of it, it goes, oh no, where's Michael's face? I'll try. Yeah. It's it. There, found my face again. Yes. Yeah, that's right. Make a proof, Brian, and do a mock-up showing them positive versus negative versions of the QR code for sure. If you guys want to sit and stare at the chargers being engraved over and over, I can move the camera over there. If you're tired of looking at my scraggly beard, just let me know. Yeah, as far as proofs and stuff like that, I usually always try. You guys are talking about proofs or different versions. I usually offer three. I only show like 3 font choices or 3 styles of the logo. on whatever the object is that I'm gonna do. Especially if it's something like a cup where the logo might need to be inverted. I have a video on that. I'll definitely show them the inverted logo on their Yeti cup or their Polar Camel cup versus what they sent me, and then I'll give them the choice of which style they want to pick. But you don't want to overwhelm them with choices. I learned that early on. Alex and I, in the beginning, were making, like, we would show them all these different font choices, all these different ideas that we had. And in the end, we just realized that all it does is just overwhelm the customer. So I try to limit it to three design choices or 3 font options. That seems to work really well. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to get customers who want more. Oh, there's a bundle deal tonight from Philly. X-Tool. Man, you know, I'm glad that you guys are getting into it and you want to take advantage. If you want to know, I'll tell you straight up, get the P2. I would much rather you get a CO2 laser than a diode laser any day. I will always say CO2 laser. It's more universal. It can cut more material. It can work with more material than the diode laser. And I just think that it would serve as just getting started. I think the P2 would serve you better than the S1. That is my official opinion. I have spoken. And use my affiliate link. Just kidding. You don't have to use my affiliate link. You do you. All right, I'm gonna try to change the camera angle here. I'm gonna try something. I hope I don't destroy the live stream. Whoa, hello, hi. Let's see if I can. Nope, that's not gonna work. No, what can I do? No, no, is that gonna work? Nope. Nope, that's not gonna work either. No. Sorry about if I'm making anybody motion sick right now. I do apologize. I'm trying to figure out how to change this. And I don't have a long enough cord. No! Oh? Is that going to work? Oh, it's upside down. If that works. All right, there we go. Oh, yes. All right. I'll leave it like that for a while, even though it's upside down. Yes, don't tell my wife that I'm drinking a Coca-Cola. She'll not. You guys don't tell my wife. She really hates when I drink Coca-Cola, and I don't have it very often, but she's out of town. I know she's going to watch this later and be like, I got you. Is it real sugar still? I wonder. I wonder. You know, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story. So do you want to know why I have those little miniature Coke bottles? Anybody? Anybody? So I have those Coke bottles because every year I do an event at Emory College in Atlanta where they have me come out with my 60-watt epilogue and engrave Coke bottles with the student's name and the year they graduated on. So it's a mobile laser engraving event. And I had some left over and they let me keep the extras. And I will tell you, as much as I liked the pay for that event, it's always in the middle of August and it is hot and sweaty and schlepping, and it's outside underneath a 10 by 10 tent and schlepping a 60-watt epilogue laser and the fume extractor and the folding tables and working at breakneck speed to engrave as many Coke bottles as I can in under 3 hours. Brutal. It's brutal, folks. Yeah, but you can't engrave glass with a 2-watt fiber laser. UV laser would be cool. That would be cool. I'd have to really have a good protection shield around that. I'm sure they make enclosures for the UV lasers. Yeah. The fume extractor, yes, I do need it, even though I'm only laser etching the glass because there still are, it's not really fumes, it's more about the particulates that I'm trying to, there are micro particulates that come off the glass that I don't want piling up in there. So I know it's called a fume extractor, but for that event, we call it a particulate extractor. Yes, Tennessee, you are absolutely correct. The more I hit it, the browner it gets. So I stopped at the right amount of passes to get that kind of creamy gray mark, right? And that's, that's not true for every single plastic. Like there are some plastics out there that you hit them multiple times and they get whiter. But you know that old saying about polishing turds, right? You don't want to, you can only polish a turd so much. Yeah, like we talked about earlier, each plastic manufacturer, so many different plastics, man, so many. And if you can get your vendor, your customer to have you send an extra one for testing, then you get the luxury of coming up with all those different types of marks. I would say uh, if I had more of these, I could have played around with different marks a little bit more, maybe got it a little bit wider, maybe go after that kind of goldish look, and then let them decide what they wanted. What's up, Thomas? You're not late. You're right on time. How often do I run live? Not very often. The most live I do is usually if I pop in on Alex over at Laser Everything on his podcast, and then once in a while I do these live sessions when I get a wild hair in my butt. Um, oh shit, that's not in focus. Excuse my language. There you go. I usually don't have time for the live, but my employee went home sick today, so which is fine. So, and I was going to have her do all these. I had already set up the job, so all she had to do was do what I'm doing right now. But since she went home sick, I was like, and I already had it all set up on the fiber laser, just like this. I had the whole job set up. I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to turn this little session into a live episode about laser marking plastic with fiber lasers and show you guys that it can be a very cool way to personalize stuff for businesses. I will tell you that at this weird camera angle, the Osmo Pocket 3, I think is struggling. Like I'm telling it to keep focusing right here, but it keeps catching. I think it's just such a tight pew pew. So I keep tapping the screen to get it to focus there, but I think I put it in a bad situation. What's up, V from Tennessee? Thanks for joining us. What's up, Ventari? Yeah, so if you're just joining us, we are engraving plastic anchor portable power banks for a company that contracted with me to do 85 of these, as companies often do. And we're using the fiber laser, 50-watt fiber laser. In the beginning of the video, you can watch it later, I shared all my settings. It is not a MOPA fiber laser. It is just a general pulsed 50-watt fiber laser with the 110 lens. The same fiber laser that Alex and I had when I started Sonoma Laser Engraving 10 years ago. How's that for you? Bam! Jack Smith. Looking to get into engraving for around $500. I don't know. I'll let other people in the chat make their suggestions first. And then I have some ideas, but anybody has any suggestions for Jack Smith? If he just wants to kind of get his feet wet and start playing around, get a feel for it. He's got $500 in his pocket. Where does he go? You got 10 seconds. Give him suggestions. Go. Funny Eater said Dremel for 500. Oh, that's Don't listen to Bunny Eater. He's just goofing around. Whoa. All right. I'm going to switch back to me. There we go. Oh, see, there you go. See, I don't really have a lot of suggestions. I'm glad you guys are throwing some stuff out there in the $500 range. Now, one of the things is it is going to be at $500, you are going to have an open laser. So you better get some good fume extraction. Unless they have one with an enclosure that comes with an enclosure for $500 too. Yeah. See? Opie's Home Shop. He just got a fiber laser to mark his own stuff. Smart. He got tired of paying other people to do it. That's okay. It's really cool that you guys are all hanging out in here. It's making my job go a lot faster. It's a lot funner. Let's see. Let's get a count of where we're at so far since we started. Yeah, my shop, I have a love-hate relationship with my shop. Anybody else have a love-hate relationship with their shop? I always feel like it's super messy and cluttered. Sometimes customers come over and I'm embarrassed, and then when they walk in, they're like, dude, your shop is amazing. You have all these toys. And I'm like, that's so funny. People don't see what I see, you know? But I have to say, when I actually spend a few hours like straightening everything up, and I come down the next morning after I totally like clean my shop and like put things back where they're supposed to be, I do have to say that I usually work a lot better when I'm a little bit more organized and my desk is clean and all that kind of stuff. So, not gonna lie, I'm just like such a creative person, and I'm constantly flittering from like one thing to another, and I have so many things that I want to do in a day, and I try to pack them all into one day. That's just how I've always been. Love my shop, hate the mess. Love that. That is a perfect, that is exactly what I was trying to say. That's exactly what I was trying to say. $30 Coke coasters with their logo. 300. Charge them. Oh. All right, let's try to answer this. Hey guys, I have a request from one of the local bars to mark 300 cork coasters with their logo. How much should I charge them? Well, I can tell you how much I would charge them. I would charge them a setup fee, first of all. Always do that. Whatever you want that to be, $35. And at 300 pieces, how big is your laser bed? How many coasters can you fit in your laser at once with a fixture? He went to lunch. What's your machine again? What kind of machine do you have? Okay, so maybe you can do 9 or 6 coasters at once. I'm guessing since you have a small bed size, I don't know if you have the F1. Oh, wait, what? So you're gonna, okay. So correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle. I don't usually do cork coasters on the fiber laser. So typically that's done with a diode laser or a CO2 laser. I mean, I'm sure you could whip up some kind of setting. I don't even know if I've really tried cork on a fiber laser, but it's not something that I would normally think of doing. Yeah, because it might catch on fire. I'm pretty sure that the beam will get absorbed right into it rather than, I don't think it'll reflect it. Yeah. You might have to pass on that job if all you have is a fiber laser and get yourself a diode or a CO2 laser so you can take on those jobs for those organic materials. Now, if you said they were leather coasters, that's a different story. Yeah, so anyway, to answer your question, if you had a CO2 laser, Like I have a CO2 laser with a 32 by 20 inch bed. I would put in a coaster fixture. I would align the fixture and I would run, 30, 32 at a time or something. And I'd probably charge that customer somewhere between 150 to 175 a coaster, hypothetically, without seeing their logo or anything like that. Because that's one of those jobs where I can actually load them up and go and do other stuff in the shop. I don't have to sit there and man the machine. Or I can have my employee sit there and run those coasters all day, 30 at a time. Getting down to the bottom of the box. Hour and 20 minutes. And that goes for slate coasters too. They slate coasters and cork coasters, you usually run about the same speed and power. Come to think of it, because they both require like a light touch. You don't have to like you don't have to blast the crap out of those. Definitely don't want to blast cork coasters, and tile coasters. You can mark those with not a lot of power at all. So you can usually run your laser at max speed and get a really nice mark. So I would charge the same for both. Yeah. I mean, we're not quite done yet, but I think I have maybe 20 left. I would probably, honestly, Beetle 73. Honestly, I would have been done already if we weren't live streaming, for sure. I probably would have done this in an hour flat. If I was just really just sitting here concentrating, not stopping to move the camera, hang out with you guys. You're not slowing me down. I did this. I wanted to do this. This is part of the YouTube, part of the Laser Engraving 911 YouTube education. It's what it is. Show you guys that I'm working just like I want you guys to be working. Putting in the work. I'm walking the walk. Use the fiber for a month and fire up the gyro. Looking to get into the CO2. I'm taking it good. I don't care for Ohm Tech too much, to be honest with you. I would try to find something else. I would look into like Eon laser, maybe their Mira 5 or their 7. Look into a P2 by X Tool. I'm not an OhmTech fan. How did you find and make this relationship with this customer to get this job? So I didn't find them. They found me, and I've had my my website lists all my services. I think it helps that I have a lot of positive Google reviews with 5-star ratings on Google, which I've worked very hard for. I have good SEO on my website. It could have been, they didn't say that they were referred from another business it could have been a referral, but they just reached out to me and they just shot me hey, we got 85 of these things. Can you mark them? Yes, ma'am. When would you like to drop ship them to me? So after a while, people are searching in your area for engraving services. And so this one was organic, to be honest with you. Laser pecker. Don't like laser pecker either, Beetle. I think they're okay, but I think they overstate their abilities often. It's my personal opinion. Jack asked about the enclosure or just a way to ventilate the fumes. None of my fiber lasers, at least the ones I use on a regular basis, have this one right here came with an enclosure. I just removed it and turned it into a class 4 so I could fit larger things in here. So, but you would need an enclosure if you were working someplace where there's lots of other people around coming by the laser, like a mobile event, or at a factory where there's other workers around. Then an enclosure is highly recommended and usually required. Uh-oh. Looks like their feed's getting a little wonky. There we go. I don't know what that's all about. Dude, yeah, what's up with that, dude? Is my camera I wonder if my camera's overheating from being on so long, and that's what's going on. But dude, what's up? I feel like I'm in a music video now. I get free special effects. Akshar. I talked about that in the beginning. The hatch spacing. So when the video gets uploaded, you can go back to the very beginning where I talk about the settings. And I list all my settings, all the hatch styles, the spacing, frequency, speed, flux capacitor modulation. just kidding. But I shared all my settings and all my tricks for that work for me for getting good marks on plastic. Yeah, I know. I don't think it's YouTube. I think it's my camera. Let me feel how hot my camera is. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know why it's doing that, but this is we're just going to ride with it because there's nothing I can do. At this point, we're near the finish line. Yes, that is an X-Tool F1 Ultra in the background. How do I like the machine? I think it's very cool. And I am looking forward to playing with it more. I'm waiting for a few features to come out that haven't been released yet. They're coming. I know this. They're working hard on those features. That's why I haven't done my full deep dive on the F1 Ultra. But what I have played with off camera, I really do think it's a cool little unit, and I think it has dual use, and I think that's like super cool. And it does what it says it's supposed to do. And I'm only waiting to do my full review until all the features get released. $500, you get air assist? Yeah, I mean, you're going to want to get, for your $500 budget laser, Jack, you're definitely going to want to try to pick something that has an air assist, especially if you're cutting wood. It's going to help you get cleaner cuts. I don't know if there's any units that come with the air assist compressor, but yeah, Jack, if you can somehow bring your budget up to 1,000 for your first laser, I think you're going to get a lot better quality stuff that you might be happier with in the long run. You know, get a line of credit. Yeah. Well, if I was in front of my computer right now, I could do some live research for you. If anybody else has any suggestions, feel free to throw it out there. Um, you can hit me up. You can email me on the website if you want, Jack. Later, just shoot me an email and say, "Hey, it's Jack from the live stream," and I'll try to shoot you back with a list of what I would get if I had $1,000. A large piece of plastic. You know, a lot of the part about getting a good mark on plastic is controlling the heat. Controlling the heat, and that's done with obviously your power and frequency and speed, and then the hatching is important too. Because you're not really trying with the fiber laser, you're not trying to engrave the plastic. You're kind of creating this surface froth call it froth laser mark, where it's almost kind of raised. But it's not obvious right away that it's raised. I would call it more laser marking than laser engraving. What are we? Hour and 30, hour and a half in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 12, 15. 15 left. Holy crap. We only have 15 left, folks. That's not bad. Tennessee Wood, this is a service, sir. They supplied me with the chargers. I am just providing the service of laser marking. So there is no tax on this. Now, if I were selling them the chargers and I bought them through one of my wholesalers and resold them to them, then there would be tax. So if they bought the blank chargers from me and I resold them, there would be tax. So this is basically, when you're doing work like this, when you're doing you're a job shop like I am, or a customer-centric base laser engraving business, this is all tax-free service work. Well, it's not tax-free. Taxman's still going to get his stuff at the end of the year, but I don't charge tax. Sure thing. One thing I did notice on these chargers, which is interesting, and it sucks that my either YouTube has turned me into 8-bit or my camera, but, and I know you probably, yeah, you're definitely, forget it. There's not going to be able to see it. So it looks like right when you take it off, like there's a little bit of like jaggedness around the edge, but it's not actually there. It's actually just like there's some kind of a micro scratch resistant clear coating, I guess, on these. And it kind of like, it's a little jaggedy around the edges. But as soon as I take my shirt and I just wipe it like that, like it instantly goes away. So I wasn't too worried about it. It's almost like some like little nano coating on the top of the charger. Fiber laser don't care. Just goes right through that. Are you playing? Am I paying sales tax? Is that what you meant to say, John? Am I paying sales tax? If I sell something on my online store that I purchased as a blank to one of my customers that bought something from my online store that I have here in stock, yeah, there's sales tax charged on that. But never when I'm doing service, when the customer supplies me with the item to be engraved. Never. Because at that point, I'm just providing a service. I'm selling my services, pimping my laser services out. Yeah, that is a nice thing that when you have a place like Etsy that kind of takes care of that for you. I have payroll in my shop, and I have a part-time employee that comes in to help me out. So I have to do payroll, and I use this service called Gusto for my payroll, and they take care of all the payroll tax calculations that I need to figure out every pay period for my employees, and they send all those taxes taken out and fees to the correct departments on my behalf. And that is like that is like so helpful to me because I don't like doing any of that stuff. So it's nice when different online services offer those features where they kind of send that off for you. Yeah. Correct, Harry. Yeah. I am in Georgia, about 45 minutes north of Atlanta. Yeah, yeah. I'm in Roswell, Georgia. Look it up. Look it up. And my company is called Sonoma Laser Engraving. So if you want to pull up my, I'll put it right here. I'm for real. Like North Carolina, Eastern Washington State. I lived in Washington. I lived in Redmond, Washington for a little bit, for about a year, where Microsoft is. Thank you, Tennessee. Appreciate that. Website's an ongoing thing. I'm constantly changing, and I'm starting to add some products online recently, which is something I haven't done in a long time. So I don't have a huge inventory of products ready to be personalized right now, but I'm trying to add a few each week. I just got to finish making the proofs and all the variables and the variants, and we'll see where we go. Then I got to drive traffic to those listings. But the traffic that I have right now to my website just for engraving services is really, really well. I think it ranks really good in my area when people are searching for custom engraving or engraving services. Last one. I think it's the last one. Never know, I might have set one. So. Boom. 85 anchor chargers, laser marked in 1 hour and 45 minutes while chatting and live streaming. Like I said, that job probably would have taken me about an hour. But, you know, we were having fun, so it took me a little bit longer using the fiber laser. So let's do a mission accomplished. Woo! All right, so let's do a breakdown of what we did. So we had to unbox each one of the chargers. We got the fixture set up. We know earlier in the video we talked about the settings on how to mark the charger on this type of plastic. We went over the settings. We talked about why the settings react the way they do with the plastic. There's no cleanup, really post cleanup, just a little little light wipe with my shirt, no harsh chemicals. And we put it back in the box. And one of the other things that will really help you when you're doing these kind of largish volume is you notice that I had everything the whole time within arm's reach, right? So I was able to grab and turn right to the machine. So that also cuts your time down. So we did 85 chargers in about an hour and 40 minutes. We charged the customer a $35 setup fee and $7 a charger. So you guys can do the math on that. And it's all service. So it's just, we didn't have to buy the chargers. We didn't have to deal with inventory or anything like that. It was just labor. So you guys can get out your calculators and figure out what we just made in an hour and 40 minutes. But realistically, that would have been done with some headphones in, really hunkering down in probably an hour. Easy. Yep, you got it. Boom. So I'm a huge fan of working with other businesses, whether it's, earlier on, I know some of you came in late, we were talking about light switch covers, laser marking, or doing custom branding for businesses that have special events, that have promotional items. I do this kind of work with these kind of products on plastic and metal during the holidays for all the corporate gifts. And most of it They drop ship me the item that they want me to mark, and it's my job to figure out, excuse me, how to get the mark on it. So you can make really good money, especially in Q4 with corporations wanting to get custom branding, using your fiber, using your CO2. I always recommend that you try to have both in your shop, a CO2 and a fiber, so you can laser mark or laser engrave and customize all the different materials. Nobody saw that Coke. Nobody. What Coke? What are you talking about? No Coke. That was a bottle of water. It's the 8-bit playing tricks on you. I'm sorry that the server decided to turn me into 8-bit Michael for this evening, but hey, you know, made it a little bit exciting. Um, anyway, I am going to shut it down for the night. I'm going to go put my feet up and watch some. I'm rewatching Game of Thrones. So I'm going to go grab some chocolate cookies and sit on the couch and watch some Game of Thrones until I probably fall asleep and then crawl in bed and get up and do it all again tomorrow. But it's been good hanging out with you guys. And feel free to watch the replay if you want to get the settings when it goes up. And I appreciate all your support and questions and stuff. It's been fun hanging out, okay? So I'll see you on the next one.